Hi friends, I am Uday Kandpal and I welcome you all to yet another lecture on NCERT Class 8 History Chapter 7 with fact elaboration by Uday Kandpal. The name of the chapter is Weavers, Iron Smelters and Factory Owners. So let's start. So India as a workshop of the world. This chapter tells us about the crafts and the industry of India during the British rule by focusing on two industries, namely textiles and iron and steel. Both of these industries are crucial for the industrial revolution of the modern world. Mechanized productions of cotton textiles made Britain the foremost industrial nation in the 19th century, and when its iron and steel industry started growing from the 1850s, Britain came to be known as the workshop of the world. The industrialization of Britain had a close connection with the conquest and the colonialization of India. With the growth of industrial production, British industries began to see India as a vast market for the industrial product, and over time manufactured goods from the Britain began flooding India. Indian cloth. Among the pieces ordered in bulk were printed cotton clothes called chintz, kosasses or khasa and bandana. So the word chintz comes from the Hindi word chint, a cloth with a small and colorful flowery designs. From the 1680s, there started a craze for the printed Indian cotton textiles in the England and Europe, mainly for their exquisite floral designs, fine textures, and relative cheapness. Rich people of England, including the Queen herself, for the clothes of Indian fabric. Similarly, the word bandana now refers to any brightly colored and printed scarf for the neck of the head. There are many other clothes in the order book that were noted by the place of origin: Kasim Bajar, Patna, Calcutta, Odisha, Cherpur. The widespread use of such words shows how much popular Indian textiles had become a different part of the world. Indian textiles in European market. By the early 18th century, worried by the population of Indian textile, wools and silk makers, England began protesting against the import of Indian cotton textiles. In 1720, the British government enacted a legislation banning the use of the printed cotton textile chintz in England. Interestingly, this act was known as the Calico Act. So it is important is the Calico Act. The first to grow under the government protection was the calico printing industry. Indian designs were now imitated and printed in England on the white muslin or plain unbleached Indian cloth. Competition with the Indian textiles also led to a search for technological innovation in the England. In 1764, the spinning jenny was invented by John Kye, which increased the productivity of traditional spindles. The invention of the steam engine by the Richard Arkwright in 1786 revolutionized cotton textile weaving. Cotton could now be woven in immense quantities. Weavers often belonged to the communities that specialized in weaving. Their skills were passed on from one generation to the next. The Tanti weavers of the Bengal, the Julahas or the Momin weavers of North India, the Sale and the Kaikolar weavers and the Devangs of the South India are some of the communities famous for weaving. The first stage of production was spinning, a work done by mostly women. The charkha and the takli were the household spinning instruments. The thread was spun on the chakra and rolled on takli. When the spinning was over, the thread was woven into cloth by the weaver. In the most communities, weaving was a task done by men. The development of the cotton industries in the Britain affected textile producers in India in several ways. First, the Indian textiles now had to compete with the British textiles in the European and the American markets. Secondly, the exporting textiles to the England also became increasingly difficult since very high duties were imposed on the Indian textiles imported into Britain. So cotton mills came up. The first cotton mill in India was set up as a spinning mill in Bombay in 1854. From the early 19th century, Bombay had grown as an important port for the export of raw cotton from India to England and China. It was close to the vast black soil tract of the western India where the cotton was grown. When the cotton textile came up, they could get supplies of raw material with ease. Mills came up in the other cities too. The first mill, Ahmedabad, was started in 1861. A year later, the mill was established in Kanpur in the United Provinces. Growth of the cotton mills led to the demand for labor. Thousands of poor peasants, artisans, and agricultural laborers moved to the cities to work in the mills. The sword of Tipu Sultan and wood steel. The sword had had an incredibly hard and sharp edge that would easily rip through the opponent's armor. The quality of the sword came from a special type of high carbon steel called woods, which was produced all over India, South India. Wood steel was made into swords, produced as very sharp edge into a flowing water pattern. This pattern came to be very small, from a very small carbon crystals embedded in the iron. Francis Buchanan, who toured through Mysore in 1800, a year called Tipu Sultan's death, has left us an account for technique by which wood steel was produced in the many hundreds of smelting furnaces in Mysore. In these furnaces, iron was mixed up with the charcoal and put inside a small small clay pot. though an intricate control of temperature and smelters produced steel ingots that were used for sword making, not just in India but in West and Central Asia too. Woods is an angelic version of the Kannada word ukku, Telugu ukku, and Tamil Malayalam urukku, meaning steel. Indian wood steel was fascinated European scientist Michael Faraday, the legendary scientist and developers of electricity and electromagnetism, spent 4 years studying the properties of Indian woods. However, the wood steel making process, which was so widely known in South India, was completely lost by the mid 19th century. So, abandoned furnaces in villages. Production of wood steel was extremely common till the end of 19th century in Bihar and central India. In particular, every district has smelters that use the local deposits of ore to produce iron, which was widely used for the manufacture of implement and tools of daily use. The furnace which were most often built of clay and sun-dried bricks. The smelting was done by the men while women worked the bellows. So thank you for watching this. I hope you learnt a lot for your competitive exams. Have a nice day. Bye bye.